We're officially on our way. Can't believe this is our last time in North Carolina for a while. We've been RVing for what, 3 years now? I've never seen this before. After 7 hours on the road, which was only supposed to take us 5, but we had a couple unplanned detours. Today we're going to be traveling in our motorhome, making the 600-mile journey from North Carolina to Indiana. We're actually splitting the trip up over 2 days. So we'll be driving about 300 miles today and about 300 miles tomorrow. We've been in North Carolina for the past couple weeks, and we are headed to Indiana for our warranty work. Our coach is about 1.5 years old now, and so it's under warranty for the first 2 years, and we've got a couple things on it that we want the manufacturer to fix. So we're heading to the Rev Group facility in Indiana to get some of those repairs done.
Yeah, and I mean, we're really looking forward to seeing the facility, walking through, do some tours of the manufacturing of the coaches themselves, and of course getting some of the repairs done on our coach.
So stay tuned for lots of really cool updates, tours, and behind the scenes videos of the facility. We're pretty excited about that. But today we're going to show you what a typical travel day is like in a motorhome. A lot of people think that traveling in an RV is all fun and games, but reality is it's also a lot of work. We'll take you through the process of how we get the RV set up and packed up and loaded, ready to go, and just what it's like to travel with a house on wheels and driving with all of your stuff for a 600-mile journey.
That's right. Another travel day.
Yeah, let's just, fingers crossed, nothing goes wrong this time. Please, Carly.
Nothing will go wrong.
Before we dive into our travel day, we want to take a moment and talk about a really important topic, mental health. Kris and I both work full-time while traveling in our motorhome, and to say that it can be stressful is definitely an understatement. I personally struggle with anxiety, and when I get really overwhelmed, I have a hard time dealing with the stress. Living in an RV is an amazing lifestyle, but it also comes with a lot of uncertainty, and for someone like me dealing with anxiety, that can be tough to handle at times. I've struggled with this for a long time, but I never felt comfortable talking to friends or family about it because I didn't want to burden them. One thing that's really helped me is meeting with a therapist who's been able to help me proactively manage my anxiety and also find ways to not get stressed out so easily. Having a professional to talk to has helped a lot. With this in mind, we want to take a moment to thank today's video sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you advice. Best part, it's really easy to use and you can do it from anywhere. All you have to do is go to their site, answer a couple questions, and BetterHelp will match you with a therapist who has experience with struggles just like yours. Let BetterHelp connect you with a therapist that can support you, all from the comfort of your own home or RV. Visit betterhelp.com/fuelyourwander or choose Fuel Your Wander during sign up to receive a special discount on your first month. And now let's get back to showing you what a stress-free travel day is like in a motorhome. We're gonna start in the back of the RV. I'll quickly just show you how we get the bathroom and the bedroom ready. So basically the bathroom is pretty simple. We already have a lot of stuff picked up. Kris and I are kind of minimalist, so we don't tend to have a lot of stuff out. I'm a clean freak and I don't like a lot of things, but we always make sure that we put away things that are on the counter, like my toothbrush, some soap and stuff, and we just put these away in the cabinets. So that way it's all picked up and nothing falls. We have most of our stuff already tied up here in the shower, so the only thing that we really have to do is we just use this little lock here to make sure that this glass shower door doesn't open during travel. And then the final thing here to do is we need to flush the toilet to get all of the water out. So in order to do that, I just hold these two buttons down and it flushes like that. Now all the water is out, and we do that just to prevent things from like splashing around and stuff. Also, we have a little latch on this door, so we secure this just to make sure that the door doesn't open when we're driving and such. Then in the bedroom, one of the key things that we have to make sure we don't forget to do is we have to fold this bed up. So this bed is on a, what's it called? A actuator? Actuator. Yeah, so we have this little remote, which is super handy, but we just click this button and the bed is gonna start folding up. And the reason why this happens is because when the slides go in, there's not enough room for the whole bed to be out like it is currently. So this is really important to make sure that you don't forget this step, or else the slides are not going to be able to go in together. So you can see here now the bed is totally folded up, and then I just have to finish making the bed. Then we also have to make sure that we pick up these rugs because the slide out is going to come up and over, so these rugs cannot be on the floor while we are packing up. So we get our vacuum cleaner out from here. We use the LG cordless vacuum. This thing works amazing. It's great. It lasts forever. So I always just make sure that I vacuum up the rugs. I'll roll these up and then I'll vacuum the floors and everything around it. We always want to make sure we vacuum the floors because you don't want any kind of loose debris or like a screw or a rock or something getting into these slide outs. They could cause some damage. So we always make sure that the floors are really well cleaned. Now that I've got this rolled up, we store these back here in the bathroom where we've got a spot for them over here. So I just put them standing up here in the corner so that way they are out of the way and tucked away. And then I'll just finish vacuuming the floors. And then, like I mentioned, what's important is you want to make sure that there's not any kind of like loose debris around. So I always make sure to go around the edges here with this, just because Kris and Axel drag in lots of stuff sometimes. I always make sure to clean it. We're done with the back. The bedroom and the bathroom are all finished. We'll move into the other areas of the coach. Since we have a bath and a half, we'll go ahead and do the same thing in the bathroom here. Kris has already put all of his stuff on the counter away, except for this thing of soap. So I'll put this away. And then we have to do the same thing with flushing the toilet. Oh, apparently you already did that.
I did.
Okay.
I'm ahead of the game.
Well, at least I can show how it's done. Now we actually keep this trash can in here so that it's out of the way, because when the slides come in, there's just not a lot of space here. So then the refrigerator, it's really important to make sure that you've always got your stuff kind of tucked away and that nothing is like really loose and gonna fall out of place. So I kind of usually just go through and just make sure things are relatively secure in here. And then we have these two handy little locks we can put here and here, and these prevent the doors from opening during travel, which is really nice to have. The kitchen countertops, we want to make sure that everything is put away. Now we've got Axel's dog bowl and his bed. Axel always knows when we're getting ready to start traveling. He starts to freak out. He's currently sitting in the front seat right now because he knows that we're leaving. He likes to sit in the front seat to make sure that nobody leaves him behind. And then we use the storage area under this dinette booth here for some of these other loose items that we have, like Axel's dog bowl. We also have our shoe rack over here. So I put our shoes, because again, when the slides come in, you really lose a lot of space and you want to make sure things don't get in the way of the slides. Get our kitchen mat over here and put this under here. We unplug our Alexa device because sometimes this will turn on while we're driving and scares the bejesus out of us when all of a sudden we start hearing somebody talking and we're like, what the heck is that? Now we've also got a televator TV. So we turn it off and we always put the TV down. We've got a little button over here under this couch where we can just press the button and the TV goes down. Then we've got Axel's bed, which comes up over here for right now. Front seat. Driving days always feel a little bit chaotic because there's stuff just out of place and you got to put everything away. But I will say this is where being a minimalist and not having a lot of like personal decorations and stuff really helps, because I can't imagine trying to do a travel day with just tons of stuff out and lots of other things. I'll also say we don't have kids and we have a lot of other RV YouTube friends that have kids. I don't know how they do it. I watch some of their videos on their travel days and it just stresses me out to no end. It's hard enough for me to get me and Kris and Axel ready to go. I can't imagine doing it with a couple kids running around. So kudos to all the parents out there that are able to do this with kids, because that is no easy feat. Now we'll do the same thing that we did back in the bedroom, which is vacuuming the rug first and then vacuuming all the floors. Put this in the bedroom back with the other rug. I'm honestly just always amazed by how much dirt there is since I vacuum at least once a day. But given the fact that it's a small space and it's a high traffic area, it's constantly just getting dirty. And we will get it dirty again on a travel day, but I just feel better knowing that it starts off clean. And then once we get there, we'll probably clean up a little bit too. Now that we have everything picked up in here, all the stuff is off the floors are clean. Just go to our main computer screen here, which is really the hub of our RV. This controls pretty much everything in here. So we just want to make sure that we've got things turned off, like it's been cold. So we're just going to turn these off. We're going to turn off our Aqua Hot system, which is our water heater. And then I'm just going to go and put a couple of these blinds down on this side. We like to keep the blinds down, or the shades down, I should say, during travel, just to keep the sun out. It helps it from getting really hot in here and from the sun fading things. And then that's pretty much it. We're pretty much good to go here. Typically we would have our tanks empty. We've got our black tank fully empty, but our gray tank, we have some degreaser. Well, you can probably describe that better than I can. Why do you have it full?
Well, we just have some degreaser in there and a little bit of fluid, a little bit of gray water, so that it's gonna kind of wash the tanks as we drive.
These sensors are super finicky, so anytime any buildup gets on them, the sensors get out of whack. So especially with the gray tank, when you have like grease and stuff from the kitchen, the sensors tend to get off. So we put degreaser in them just to help prevent that and help get the sensors back to normal. I won't do this yet, but this, you know, we typically turn off all the lights and stuff here too. We'll do that at the end. And then this is also where we can control all the slides and everything like that when we're ready to put those in.
For us to pull the slides in and for us to let jacks down, we actually have to start the engine. So going to go ahead and start the engine. What you're going to hear is a very annoying beep. It's the warning to let us know that the jacks are down, but it beeps the entire time that we're putting the slides in and as we're getting ready to go. So
it's one of the things we are hoping American Coach can change during our warranty work, because it is like the most shrill, frustrating sounding beep ever.
And there's the beep, and of course those slides will go up automatically now.
Shades.
Sorry, the shades will go up automatically now that the engine's started.
Now that we have it on, we can go ahead and put the slides in. You can see here with all the slides in, we got the jacks up and everything. So this is what it looks like when we're actually traveling. It's a bit narrow here between the two couches, so we kind of have to scoot like this. If you were a heavier set person, it might be a little bit more challenging. We do have still quite a bit of space back here, and we can still access everything. You know, we can access things under here. We can access our cooktop, our sink, our dishwasher. So, you know, all the drawers still open. So I'm still able to cook here without having to put any of the slides out, which is great when we stop at places like rest stops.
And everything still works, right?
Yeah.
So we can still use the water, the refrigerator's still on, we can get ice, which is important. I mean, all that stuff still works.
Yeah, and what's great is like I can get up and grab a snack or grab a cup of water or something while we're driving and not have to stop, which is super nice. And then you can also still access the half bathroom here. You do have to crawl across the bed though if you want to get back to the back bathroom. So that's definitely one thing that's a little bit of a challenge. If you're not quite as mobile, as you'll have to get over this bed, but that's why the half bath is here. So that way if you need to use the bathroom, you can just use this one without having to go over the bedroom. All right, now that we're done with the inside, let's get to the outside.
Now that the inside's done, we're going to get to disconnecting everything from the outside, all the utilities, the water, the electric, the sewer, all the fun stuff. So I like to start with the sewer, the black and the gray. We've actually already emptied the tank, so we're good to go from a tank perspective. So all I really need to do is just disconnect everything. We actually used to have a SantaCon system in here with a 1-inch pipe, but we replaced that all with just a standard gravity fed 3-inch pipe. So I just like to make sure that we get all the gray water out of it.
All the stinky water. The funny thing about the gray and the black tanks, the black tank is for the toilet water. The gray tank is for like the sink and the showers and stuff. The gray tank is the one that stinks.
Yeah, it always is for some reason.
It smells so bad.
Yeah. So these things, these tank hoses, although they're about 10 feet long, they compress up kind of nicely. It just takes a bit of leg work.
And most guys would probably use gloves for this part, but Kris doesn't believe in gloves. He does wash his hands though before we get all the comments.
We got soap and water. So then once these things are compressed and empty, they fit nicely inside my...
And in case you missed it, he put caps on the end, so, you know, there's nothing coming out of them.
Yeah, the caps do two things. They keep them nice and clean, but then they also prevent air from getting in. So that's what allows them to get shrunk, if you will. So again, same thing. I cap the end and squeeze the air out of them. And it's a bit of a balancing act. And once we have the air out of it, cap the other end, and then they stay nice and compressed. And then I've got lots of storage space. And then finally take off the last bit, which is just our connector to the main sewer.
This is probably the non-glamorous part of RV living, is having to empty your own tanks.
You know, at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all use the bathroom, and
we do?
There's nothing you can do about it. So then inside here, we've got everything stored away for the black tank and the gray tank. You can see everything's put away nice and neat. Then I'll do the electric next. The next thing that we'll do is unplug the electric. We're hooked up to 240 volt 50 amp. So hit the breaker and pull apart our surge suppressor from our actual coach. And interesting, well, this is a surprise. We've actually got a melted...
Holy shit.
Yeah, so something happened. You can see it.
How did that happen?
I have no idea. We got some surge. We don't have any damage to the coach itself, but
We've been RVing for what, 3 years now? I've never seen this before.
yeah, but this is a 2 or 3 year old surge suppressor. So maybe.
Was it a faulty surge suppressor or a faulty electrical?
It looks like a faulty surge suppressor. It looks like it overheated on one of the circuits.
So this is why you want to always use a surge protector, because if this had happened to our coach line, that'd be much more difficult to replace.
It's also time for, this is garbage now. It's time to get a new surge suppressor.
And those aren't cheap.
No, they're not. Before we park again, we got to get a new surge suppressor, so.
We always swear on travel days, 3 things break, always.
Yeah, well, there you go.
That's number 1.
Broke. At least it broke before we used it next.
Let's see what else breaks.
We got power retractable lines on everything, so all I'm doing is just holding the line and letting it retract in while I let the motor do all the work.
It's really nice to have a power reel.
Yep. And then next, that's electric's done, so next we'll do the water. Just turn the water off, disconnect.
And what's really nice is we used to have our water filtration system and our water softener out here. So Kris would have to hook those up every time we set up or move like we are today. But he installed those inside our wet bay recently. So now those are all installed and all we have to do is disconnect the hose.
Yeah, I mean, it's much simpler. It's 5.
You can see the water filter is now inside the wet bay here, and that's our water softener in there too.
Much quicker on the move, on the travel days.
I don't think there's any project you can't accomplish.
Thank you, baby. But again, the power reels are so nice here. All I'm doing is holding the button and trying to guide it in. But it takes care of itself, does all the work. All I got to do is press the button and get it in there. Then close the access panels. And this I tuck away in a different bay just so it's not in the sewer bay. But then we're good to go. So from a utility perspective, that's everything. Electric, water, sewer.
And one of the other things that's nice about our coach compared to our last one is that all of these bins under here in our basement, they're all power locked. So we can lock them all as soon as we get going. We hit the lock button and all the bins lock, so we don't have to worry about locking individual bins.
Yeah, that's handy, very handy.
All right, so next we will show how we hook up the Jeep to flat tow it, and then we'll be ready to rock and roll.
Okay, once we finish all of the external connections and inside, as we've said before, we flat tow, so you gotta hook everything up to the Jeep. Make sure that we can flat tow it.
And flat towing honestly is so much easier than using a trailer. This only takes Kris a couple minutes to get it all set up and hooked up. If we had a trailer, we have to find places, first of all, that you can actually park a trailer, which is pretty limited. You'd have to get the trailer all hooked up, and then you'd have to hook up the car to the trailer. So it would take much longer than just flat towing.
Yeah, and I mean, you're seeing this in real time. It doesn't take any time at all. This is all permanently connected to the RV. So we've now hooked up the tow bar. Now we just hook up the safety straps, make sure that I'm crossing them over left to right, right to left.
And those are just a fail-safe should the tow bar fail, which hopefully never happens. But like we mentioned, we do have a full explainer video talking about how we set this all up.
Yep, then we hook up all of our umbilical cords, make sure that we've got lights for brakes and turn signals and power actually to keep the battery charged in the Jeep, because sometimes we do tow it for multiple days.
One time we towed our Jeep Wrangler for a couple days and we never turned it on or anything, and we didn't have this power set up, and we got to our destination and the Jeep was totally dead. We had to go buy a new battery, and we had to get a friendly neighbor at the RV park to help get us to the AutoZone store.
We did, we just killed the battery. So here we're nice and set up, all the safety cables, umbilical cords, everything's good to go.
I mean, seriously, that took what, 2 minutes?
If that.
Yeah.
So then we'll just get inside the Jeep and do all the settings for the inside of the Jeep again, which we cover in other videos, but get the Jeep ready to be flat towed.
Now that we've got the Jeep all hooked up and we've got everything done on the inside and the outside, the next thing that we always make sure to do is just to do a full walk around the RV. So we want to make sure that we just check that we didn't forget anything, that none of the slides are sticking out. We make sure that all the jacks came up properly, which you can see here, just to make sure that there's nothing left behind. We've been here for about 2 weeks now, and we had out a lot of stuff, so it's always good to make sure that, you know, nothing's left behind. And typically we would have things like chairs and other stuff set up outside, but we actually packed up all that away last night, so we'll usually try to get a head start on some of this stuff the night before, just so that way we can make the travel day that much easier and smoother. But as you can see here, everything looks pretty good. She is ready to roll. Most people probably think we're pretty old school for this, but we actually use these walkie-talkies to communicate while we're setting up or moving like we are today. And these things are super handy because not all RV parks have good cell signal. And it's just easier than having to use a cell phone. Kris can just hear me on the radio, and this is just a fail-safe to make sure that, you know, I can always tell him to stop when he needs to stop.
These are not old school, they're cool school.
They are pretty awesome.
Breaker.
Now that we've got the engine turned on, we're ready to go. I'm gonna go outside with my handy dandy walkie-talkie and I'm just gonna make sure that everything looks okay while we're rolling away, that the Jeep's going well, and that there's no issues or anything. Now that we are all packed up, we've tested everything, we've checked to make sure that everything looks good, it's time to officially hit the road. Axel, are you ready for a road trip, man? Are you ready for an adventure?
He can't wait.
He loves to ride shotgun, but doesn't realize he's taking up my spot.
He wants to drive, actually.
Yeah, he does want to drive. We're officially on our way. Can't believe this is our last time in North Carolina for a while.
Yep, and it was painless and eventful morning. We don't always know that's going to be the case when we take off, other than that surge suppressor issue, which we're going to have to look at now.
Yeah, that was bizarre. Axel's already nice and comfortable in his bed down here. Axel loves sleeping right in between us. Poor guy, he gets so panicked on travel days, so I try to make sure he's always nice and comfortable, huh, buddy?
The Jeep's right behind us.
Yep, it's nice that we can see it in the camera at all times. All right, you're gonna go right here onto Cook Street, and then we just got a couple minutes till we get to the highway. Pretty easy shot from this RV park.
No, it was a great RV park, actually.
Indiana, here we come.
Indiana. Looking forward to the factory.
We just got a little bit of an unexpected delay, but it's a good delay already. So Chris's oldest son, Chance, just called and said that he is actually going to be driving by pretty much exactly where we're getting on the highway. So right as we get started, we're going to stop in a parking lot and say our final goodbyes to Chris's oldest son, which is always great to see him. And also, he's like Axel's favorite person in the whole world, besides his other son, Jack. He loves his sons more than anybody else, so it's always fun to get to see Axel so excited. But we're going to do a quick stop to see him, and then we'll get rolling on the highway. We get a lot of questions about how we actually navigate our trips along the road, and typically we use Google Maps for pretty much everything, but I always go in and verify our route with an RV Safe GPS. So this is RV Life. We use this, and I'll just make sure that the route we're taking is safe for our rig. You can put in all of your dimensions. And then we also have our actual RV GPS system here, which we'll use as well. I don't have it on right now, but this has all the dimensions of our RV programmed into it. So it just verifies that we're not going to get on some dangerous path that we shouldn't be taking. We just made it to the Lowe's parking lot where we are going to be meeting up with Chris's son, Axel. You get to see your absolute favorite person in the whole world. Are you so excited, buddy? Oh, who's that? Axel, who's that? Is that Chance? Okay, are we so excited? Come here, you gotta be chill though. He is gonna go absolutely crazy.
Love you, man. I love you. I'm proud of you. Good to see you. Thank you.
Axel, say bye to your best friend. Say bye. Time to get back on the road. Axel's already in his spot. He's already taken the co-pilot chair. Axel loves to stare out the window.
Well, I assume we're going to Burlington.
Yes, we are heading westbound on I-40.
It was weird to be going westbound again. We've been going east for so long.
What's that song?
Eastbound and down, roll it up and truck it. We're going to get to da-da-da-da-da.
One of Chris's favorite movies is Smokey and the Bandit, and I had never seen it, but I've come to love that movie now. Burt Reynolds has some great lines.
Burt Reynolds was a classic, man. And let's not forget Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
These are the things we talk about to entertain ourselves on a long road trip. The funny thing about it is we will go on like a 10-hour road trip day, and we don't listen to any music or any podcasts or anything sometimes. We'll just sit here and talk for 10 hours.
It's true.
All right, and now it is about 10:45 in the morning. We were aiming to get out of here by 9. We didn't exactly do very well on that, but that's okay.
That was a good day.
We'll get
Good
there
morning.
eventually. It was a good morning.
We already had one of our failures.
That's right. We got 2 more to go.
Two more to
Hopefully
go.
nothing major. It's just about lunchtime, so we are going to stop at a rest area to make some lunch. Rest areas are really nice places for us to stop because they've got dedicated truck and RV parking, so we can park there usually with no problems if it's not busy. So we follow the sign here that says trucks so we can park with the big boys.
Yeah, I mean, we're a little bit bigger than a bus. Not quite as long as a truck, but definitely much longer than a bus.
And one thing that's really important to note is that these truck drivers have to stop and take breaks every so often, so we always want to make sure we're not taking up a spot for them. So we try to stay no more than 20 to 30 minutes max. And it's kind of amazing, but with our Jeep and our motorhome, we take up pretty much the entire lane here. The rest stops are great because they got a place for us to walk the dog, and we can stop here and make lunch real quick. Now that we've stopped, Kris kicked on the generator for me. The generator allows us to run the induction cooktop here. We always have to open these really slowly because sometimes things do come falling out. Nothing too major here. I'm just gonna get out some eggs and cheese, and I'm gonna make us a croissant breakfast sandwich, which Axel seems very excited about.
And here comes Axel, he's getting excited.
This is honestly what we love about having a motorhome, is just the ability to have everything right here. Don't have to put any slides out or do anything like that. You wouldn't really want to put slides out at a rest stop like this unless you had a ton of extra space, because that can sometimes block the truckers, so it's important not to. Kris taught me this, but real butter is the key to everything in life. It makes everything taste better. I used to always use the fake stuff, and then he taught me that the real butter is much better.
The other thing that's funny is Hillary never used to like croissants. Now, I don't understand how anybody in the world doesn't like croissants, but she didn't. But now she does.
I don't think I'd ever had a good croissant, and so I'd only tried a couple, and they were kind of dry and flaky, and I just didn't really like them. But like butter, Kris taught me that it's actually a really...
I teach her all the healthy things in life.
Yeah, all the healthy things. While we're parked next to trucks and stuff and just have a really delicious fresh breakfast. And of course, Axel's like, let me have some. So now we can sit and enjoy a quick meal together. All right, you ready to eat?
I'm ready.
This looks pretty good.
It does look good.
Much better than getting some crappy fast food at McDonald's.
That's right. Fresh eggs.
That's right. Fresh eggs, fresh croissant, fresh cheese. The only thing it's missing is bacon, which we usually have bacon, but you have to make it in the air fryer. And I wasn't about to pull out the air fryer at the rest stop.
That's a little too much time.
How come you're not doing the dishes if I cook?
I don't have a good answer for that. Normally I do the dishes, but I guess when we're traveling, I don't.
Kris does all the driving, so I don't mind that I can help out in other ways. All right, we'll just get these dried up, and then we can hit the road. Here's our little co-pilot here. He loves to sit in my seat for the first few minutes that we get going. Axel, come here. What do you think? Did you like that croissant? Was that good? Oh, you're very sweet. Thank you. Okay. All right, we gotta get going. You ready? So Axel likes to sit in my lap here. Only at the beginning. Like, he doesn't usually do this for very long. Only once we actually start going, but I don't mind. I like having him in my lap for a little bit. We're about halfway on our trek to stay in West Virginia tonight. I think we're actually staying in like Milton, West Virginia or something. So we're about halfway there, and we are going to stop and fuel up at a truck stop. It's the last big truck stop before we get to our destination. We don't really even need fuel. We could make it all the way there, but it gives us a chance to take a break. Kris can take a break from driving since he's been doing such a great job all day long and is getting a little bit tired. And that way we can let Axel out, and we just make sure that we're always topped off, so that way it's never an issue. And we have a diesel tank, so we go fill up in the back with the big trucks. How big is our tank?
150 gallons.
It is really slow if we try to do it at a regular pump, so the truck stops allow us to do it a lot faster. We're also members of a fuel discount program. We can get a discount at the pump when we stop at these places that are part of the fuel program.
Is it sad that these truck stops start to look familiar? We've stopped enough at them that I know we've been here before.
Score. A lot of times we'll have to wait in line at these, but this lane is open.
So we can use our
Open Roads fuel
card.
Discount program.
Yep.
This card is awesome. Basically, it's free to join, doesn't cost anything, and it's a membership where you get access to a discount at all these different truck stops. And they debit your bank account after you make a purchase. And the way that it works is they basically just take 10% of the discount that you get. So let's say we save 50 bucks, they would just take 10% of that off the top as part of the program fee. So totally worth it. And this honestly saves us, what, like thousands of dollars a year, I think.
Yeah, easily. I mean, we save 20% almost every time we stop. The one time I use my glove,
He doesn't use a glove for the sewer, but he uses a glove for diesel because he thinks diesel's nastier than the sewer.
it just smells worse.
And how much do we have to fill up today?
We only need about half a tank, so 60, 70 gallons.
Not too terrible today.
No, it's not too bad.
While Kris finishes washing the windshield and filling us up with diesel, I'm going to take Axel to the dog park. All right, buddy, no running, okay? As you can see, Axel is quite excited to go to the dog park. Axel, slow down, buddy. Slow down. We're going to get to go, I promise. Okay, well, we decided to scratch the dog park idea because the dog park is really muddy right now, and I don't want Axel dragging all the mud into the RV. We are just outside the dog park, which Axel's not a huge fan of, but at least this way he can go to the bathroom and take a little break. We always try to make sure we give him at least 5 or 10 minutes outside whenever we stop, just to give him a little bit of time to stretch his legs and get outside a bit. All right, buddy, you ready to get back in the RV? Everything looks good. We're all full of fuel. Come on, buddy. Let's get you some water, man. Up and up, come on. Good job. Good boy. All right, come here. Come here, stay. Are you thirsty? Somebody was thirsty, huh? Good job, buddy. I also have to say that one of the really great things about traveling in a motorhome is that we don't have to use public bathrooms. So anytime we stop, like right now, we're still at the Loves. And sometimes these bathrooms can be really nice and clean, but a lot of times they're not that great. We just use the bathroom in the coach and we just make sure we have enough fresh water in our tank. And it just makes it so much nicer to not have to go in and use dirty public bathrooms. That's definitely one of the perks about traveling in a motorhome. We are full. We've got a full tank of diesel now, as you can see here.
We didn't fill up the def, but
gives us what, 943 miles range. So we can go pretty far on one tank of gas or one tank of diesel. Thanks, Loves.
thank you, love.
You checked that the Jeep and everything was okay?
Yeah, everything on the Jeep looked good. Did a walk around, all the tires, standard stuff.
We're getting back on I-77 towards Wytheville, I think is how you pronounce it.
Yep. I want to say Wyethville, but I think you're right. I think it's more like Wytheville. It didn't take as much as I thought. We only took about 50 gallons.
How much was it?
I never look at the price. I hate to admit it, but I don't. I just look at the gallons.
You don't want to know what it costs.
I don't want to know, and I can't impact it, right?
All right, we're actually not going towards Wytheville. We just came from there. We're going towards Bluefields because we're going to North I-77.
Okay.
North towards Indiana. We've got 33 miles till we got to take the next interchange. This feels a little bit like a longer day than it actually is, just with all the wind and everything. It's so noisy and...
Yeah, we started late.
We did start late. I got kettle corn left over from Buc-ee's.
Did you pick me up a roast beef at Arby's?
No. I didn't even go into the Loves.
Good.
And then we also got the Buc-ee's gummy bears, which I swear these are the best gummy bears on the planet.
They are very flavorful.
They really are good. God, that wind is crazy.
Yeah, the wind really makes the day much more difficult because you're constantly being pushed around, right? We're like a big sail.
We're about to come to our first tunnel, the East River Mountain Tunnel.
Which is a weird name for a mountain and a tunnel.
All right, you gonna hold your breath? The game you used to play as a kid. We have to
really?
hold your breath through the whole tunnle.
No.
Come on, let's see if you can do it. You ready?
What if I pass out
Driver.
while I'm driving?
I shouldn't do it. Don't actually hold your breath. You're driving. Babe, stop. That's dangerous. Breathe.
This guy's going way too slow. Never make it.
No, you'll never make it when that guy's going that slow. Our navigation screen actually shows that we're going through a tunnel, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I see light at the end of the tunnel. You see what I did there? Come on, that was pretty funny.
This is why we never have to listen to the radio, because I've got comedy effect here 24 hours a day.
I've got the jokes, baby.
You do.
Totally got the jokes. Oh, look at that. We got a new state. We crossed into Virginia earlier, and now we are crossing into West Virginia. Wild and wonderful.
So if you know exactly why there's a Virginia and a West Virginia, put it down in the comments.
Why is there? Do you know?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, why West Virginia and why not like North Virginia or South Virginia? That's an interesting one.
Or why not just come up with a new name?
These are the random things that keep Kris and I occupied all day on road trips. We just talk through the random thoughts in our head. Let's play Would You Rather, my favorite game. Yeah, totally. Come on.
Video.
Would you rather? Would you rather be a famous international rock star or be like top of the class Formula One driver?
Well, that's a trick question, actually, because top of the class Formula One driver is a rock star. So
No, he's not.
yeah, they totally are. Lewis Hamilton's not a rock star.
He's not a musician. I mean, a musician.
Right, but he gets all the perks of being a rock star.
No, that wasn't the
Famous,
question.
money.
Okay. Do you want to be Dave Grohl or do you want to be Lewis Hamilton?
I want to be Dave Grohl.
Why?
Because Lewis Hamilton is an amazing athlete. The things that he's done will stick around for a long time, and he'll have all kinds of records, and he won, hundreds of events. But Dave Grohl's music will stick around forever. Think about the music you listen to nowadays. I still listen to music from Led Zeppelin in the 70s, right? And the Beatles, whoever. Like, music just sticks around for so long. And I love to watch a race, but there's an emotional connection to music. I mean, look at my tattoos. They're half Dave Grohl lyrics.
You get to see them this year, finally. You've never
That's
seen
right,
them in
and
person.
we're going to see Dave Grohl.
That'll be pretty fun.
So, yeah, no, I'd pick a rock and roll musician over Formula One.
After a long day of about almost 7 hours of being on the road, we had a little bit of a delay with traffic and windy roads and stopping to see Chance and stopping to get gas and making breakfast. We're finally arriving in Milton, staying at this KOA. Good Lord, they're not, can you even make that?
I'm gonna have to, aren't I?
It might be the sharpest right turn I think I've ever seen. We were just on that road right there.
And now we were going west, and now we're going east.
Oh.
That quickly.
That was, I can't believe you actually made that. That was impressive maneuvering.
Thanks to the tag axle.
Axel, we made it to the KOA, buddy. We made it, man. You excited? The nice thing about KOAs, they're not always the nicest RV parks, but you can make a reservation online, on an app actually, which is really handy. And they usually have them in the places that we're traveling through. All right, I'm gonna get the walkie-talkies out real quick since we have arrived. Walkie-talkie for you. Walkie-talkie for me.
Thank you.
We gotta see if we need to unhook the Jeep or not, because we have a pull-through spot, but I don't know if it's actually long enough. I'll go check us in.
Okay.
And I'll be right back.
Let me know either way.
Okay. So we'll go inside, check in with the KOA, get our site number, and then hopefully get set up so we can rest after a pretty long day. Hey buddy, we're here, we made it. Well, we finally made it after 7 hours on the road, which was only supposed to take us 5, but we had a couple unplanned detours.
Like we typically do.
But that is actually one of the really nice things about traveling in a motorhome is that you can take longer if you want. So you can change your travel schedule last minute. You can stop when you want to stop. You don't necessarily have to stick to a rigid schedule. It's one of the nice things about having a semi-easy travel day like we did today is just the flexibility it gives you.
Does make it much more relaxing. As relaxing as 8 hours of driving can be.
7.
7.
Well, and it wasn't even 7 hours of driving because we stopped for like an hour, hour and a half. So it wasn't too bad. But it's also just really nice because you've got your home with you. Now the only bad side of RVing is that we got to do the exact same thing that we did this morning. So we start the whole process all over again. That's why travel days can be a little bit stressful because it's just pack, drive, unpack, repeat. Like it just feels like we're constantly doing the same thing over and over again. But it takes us, 20 minutes to set up for an overnight stay. It's not too bad. We just get the utilities set up and we set up a couple things inside and we try not to make it too much work.
It's quick to set up.
All right, well, we hope you guys enjoyed getting to see what a realistic travel day is like in our motorhome. If you have any questions, be sure to drop us a comment below. And as always, make sure you hit that subscribe button.